As I had mentioned yesterday, I decided to again lay the cards out ahead of time so that I could pull versions from other decks if necessary. Just because I think, like translations of a text, sometimes it helps if we can see different versions, as they'll emphasize different things. I used the Thoth Tarot by Crowley this morning as the basis for the discussion, but I've also pulled some cards from the go-to, or what has become my go-to, the Black Flame Tarot. Now, I'll apologize if I cough a bit. As I mentioned in a video yesterday, have begun what feels like a long fast. I just got past 60 hours, so that'll do things to the body and the mind. So pardon any pauses or lapse in thinking as well. I'll do my best. This was, I thought, a very interesting reading for the end of a year and the beginning of a new, because we've got some really end of the line cards, or we've got some sort of toward the toward the end of these respective suits. A 9, a knight, a 10. All of these suggest, leading into new things or completing things that we've started working on. So I'll consider this less a past, present, future, and more of just elements of the present as we move into new things. To start with, the 9 of discs, as Crowley preferred, or pentagrams as I prefer. Nines have a definitely they feel like something ending, but maybe in catastrophe, or it may feel like a catastrophic conclusion to something. And as we know, discs or pentagrams refer often to shaping one's environment, or maybe our feelings about environment. Something we've been working on may have taken a different direction in this case, or will soon take a different direction than anticipated. And we may, we may need to know how to react to that. We can learn, of course, from what we've done before. Something I like to say, regardless of your age, you've been alive X number of years, and you've had a 100% survival rate, which makes pretty good odds that you'll get through whatever, catastrophe or difficulty or unexpected trial you face. We'll skip the middle card for right now, and we'll go to the 10 of Wands, which has a very different feel, I think. This gets past the catastrophic feeling. This gets us into the how maybe we not only can deal with, but how we can use or utilize this as a resource for something new, as an element for something that we want to make in ourselves or in our surroundings, or both. Now, that of course moves us into another phase or cycle altogether, But we have to figure out how to deal with this. And there, the night comes in. Now, something else I want to bring up here real quick. I mentioned I had the Black Flame Tarot, and I dug those out mainly for this card, so I don't want to forget to mention it. Definitely a different look than the earlier Crowley version, but I like it a bit better. Crowley has a bit more organization, and I don't know why he associated it with the word oppression, because for me this card has a lot to do with moving forward and adapting things, and that, you know, maybe oppression has to do with what we need to get past, what we need to push through, how we may feel as we set about doing those things. But this, I feel, has a lot of positive meaning, a lot of forward-moving meaning. In the Black Flame Tarot, we don't see the wands as symmetrically organized, but we do find some interesting details. First, the color scheme. Red and a lot of very dark purple, violet. Red, of course, I associate with action or movement in tarot, a need to do things, a need to progress, very verb-oriented. And we can draw on something very special that if we have the mind for, we have at our disposal, and if not, we may need to do a little bit of reflecting. But violet, or purple in tarot, as I also mentioned yesterday, refers to wisdom, applied knowledge. You know, we've had an experience. How do we deal with that? Well, how did we deal with it last time? Or how did we deal with something last time? It also seems interesting that these scepters that have retained the name wand, these scepters actually belonged to Set, the ancient Egyptian god, or more appropriately, Nater. But in any case, if these resemble a head, as they should, look at the direction that they face. For that wisdom to really take effect, or to draw on something that we can use as we move forward, we have to learn from the past. So what should we do? Well, sometimes, it's a little burst of light there. I think of this card as divided into two areas, and this falls just below the halfway point, I think. Just about halfway. We've got the conscious mind up top, we've got the unconscious mind at the bottom, we've got this burst of light beaming. Look deep within yourself, and you probably already know where you need to apply the things that you've learned or that you've been through, how to use them. You just may not feel ready quite yet to acknowledge that. But oftentimes, we know what we need to do. We just don't like it, may not want to admit it quite yet. Now, how to get from here to here, where we still don't know maybe exactly, although, like I just said, we probably have a better idea than we want to believe. The intellect. We need to bring in the intellect. Both of these suits have very transformative, even magical properties. But we need to balance things out. We have to remember that while we may work magic or creativity, and we want to change our environment, we have some very turbulent times that have come upon us. Those can get overwhelming and really out of whack. We need the very motion-oriented knight to help us. As you can see, he has a couple of swords there to help dive down, fly down in this case. This guy has wings. We need to use our minds and our intellects and our reason as well to weigh out exactly how we want to go from here to here. If we don't have that ingredient, if we don't have that aspect, then it can become a free-for-all. As if he cut his wings off and went tumbling down. We need a balance in these things to help us get from one place to another within ourselves. Otherwise, we go to extremes. And while those may feel very energetic, we need more than energy. The atomic bomb was very energetic. The Big Bang was very energetic, but also very chaotic. And while the latter resulted in some pretty cool things, including us, the former, outside of a political statement or political context, has resulted in some very awful things. Powerful, huge magnitude. But it hasn't resulted in much in the long run, in my estimation. We don't want to make an atomic bomb of our lives, and so we bring things into harmony. We don't consider the swords and the intellect working against the wands of creativity. We bring them together so that they can work together and move us forward in a highly energetic but well calculated and crafted direction where we understand the consequences, we understand the potentials, and we have some backup plans in case things don't go the way they need to. So before acting, step away from the situation. Do some thinking, contemplating, set up a spreadsheet, keep a journal, write out some goals, break them down into steps. Do pros and cons lists for your options. And having made an informed decision, ride forth to do what you need to do, and you already have some idea of what that involves. As always, feel free to leave some comments, leave some questions. It doesn't have to pertain to just this reading, and I will do my utmost to get back to them quickly and thoroughly. Don't forget to subscribe for some updates. Not only will we have some additional tarot readings, expect some additional fasting videos, as I have mentioned. We've just gotten past 6 hours, 60 hours. Certainly feels like a lot more than 6. And this could go on for a little while, so you may find it interesting. Until next time.